Koripetara Ahangare Matahoya Nitai Panapasariya Asachere Sachakurimani Nitaya Koruna Hoy Behe Rajayana Krishna Boy Behe Naru Nitai Jana Tugani Nitaya Jograna Satya Nahar Sadakanitjana Nitai Bada Zana Kuru Asya Naro Tamo Bado Duki Nitai More Kono Suki Nakaranga Jaranana Pasha Nitai Bada Kamana Oti Chanda Chushitana Yechayayat Yagaturai. You know the rest of the song you know. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravakacharya Astatara Satashi Shrimad, His Divine Grace, Abhaya Chananada Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vedanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyam Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Machuradam Ki Jai. Jagat Goswami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Sarvaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prastaya Budle Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati. This. Not too Hare Krishna. Never get it right. Can someone turn down the volume? Who knows how to turn on the volume? It's too loud. It's actually, it's a little loud for me.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, that should be all right. Now, yes, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a song. The song I just sang is by Narottam Das Thakur. It's about Lord Nityananda. And actually, I can read the translation. It's very wonderful. In this material world, which is progressing toward hell, there is always a blazing fire. And everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which are cooling like the shining of millions of moons. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult to approach Radha Krishna. Anyone who does not establish their relationship with Lord Nityananda is simply spoiling their boon of a human birth and the animal propensities of sense gratification. Never say in the names of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya to become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment and their academic education, and birth in a high family or great nation will not protect them at the time of death. They become maddened by a false concept of bodily life, and thus they have forgotten their eternal relationship with Lord Nityananda. Such forgetful persons accept the illusory energy as factual. When you achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact, and anyone who engages in the transcendental loving service of Lord Nityananda immediately achieves their transcendental position on the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Therefore, always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Narottam Das Thakur says, "My dear Lord Nityananda, I am very unhappy, so I am praying to you to make me happy. Please keep me in the corner of your lotus feet." So, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Nityananda's representative, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, we are able to present empathic communication because Prabhupada is the personification of empathy, and he is connected with Lord Nityananda, who is so empathic that even he forgave Jagai Madai. That's really empathy. And of course you see this empathy not only in the case of Lord Nityananda, but also in the case of great devotees like Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who said, "Forgive them, they know not what they do." Haridas Thakur, who prayed for the people who were beating him. He felt so much empathy that they were in anxiety, isn't it? I said, what's your problem? We're in anxiety because we're feeding you and you're not dying. He said, okay, I can take care of that one. And then he went into a trance, and apparently he was dead. He wasn't dead. And they threw him, the Muslim had him thrown in the river. And he did this all because he was feeling sorry for the people who were feeding him. Not feeling sorry, empathy, sorry. Empathy. So this is a Vaishnava. Of course, we can't emulate that. One thing I wanted to talk about today before we start or continue with our course is the need for love. Woo. All you need, give my guitar. All you need is love, love, all you need. All right, anyway. So I was reading some news report today. Don't worry. It's not about politics either. I was reading a news report today. You know, I sometimes read the news just to see what's happening in the world, see if it's still there. And there was one article, the world's oldest man. And it said, find out what he does to remain old. Not to remain old, to become old. Not that he remains old. So find out what he does. So I was thinking, wow, I'm already following a very restricted diet. What do I need to do now to just live to, you know, he's like 113 or something. But it turns out the world's oldest lady is a lot older. Oh my God. What's wrong with us, man? You know? So I find out, what is he doing? And then they asked him a question, you know, what is your diet? He lives in Puerto Rico. That's an island. Anyway, it's part of the United States, but not a state, because the United States wants to exploit the people there, so they don't give them the full rights. So it's one of the many colonies. So, and he lives in his place, Carolina, yeah, in Puerto Rico. And I'm familiar with the place because I used to live in Puerto Rico for some time. And he said just one word. He said, love. And so, you know, it turns out, I mean, I'm not talking just about his wife, you know, and everything like that. Not encouraging all you brahmacharis to immediately get, no brahmacharis, to get married. But, and his wife lived a long time too. She passed away 2010. It's interesting how I remember all these details. Because the article really struck me. But he was surrounded by his family, which a multi-generational type of family. Just like I'm here in Slovenia and I'm walking around the mountains, not a mountain, the hill, just an alley, in the morning, and it's either all these nice houses, and then you find out these are just like normal middle-class people who are living here, not just, you know, sometimes one of the Americans who shall remain nameless asked the question, are these rich people here? And the answer was, no, these are normal people. But they've owned their property for many generations, many generations they've lived here. And they don't have any mortgage. Whereas the interesting thing about America is that people continually are changing homes and then taking out mortgages and paying for an 80-year mortgage when they only lived for 30 years. And then they have this thing called the reverse mortgage. I don't know if you know what that is. That means you, listen, even if you pay off your house, then you take another mortgage so you get the money back, so that the time you die, the bank owns the house. So, nice. Nice to you, banker. So anyways, there's multi-generation families, they live together, they're happy. You know, the people here seem relatively happy compared to other places that I've been. And so, because his family had lived in the same situation for many generations. And he was just a farmer, you know, nothing really special. He didn't know anything about Whole Foods. organic foods, or anything, nutrition, if you ask them any question, nutrition, what is nutrition? Didn't even speak English, actually. So, it was just because he was having this connection with the people he loved throughout his whole life, which is really interesting. And because that need was met, of course this is in line with our seminar, because that need was met, then he was healthy, and he's still working out in the fields at like 112, 113. Wow. And look at me, just like young 72. Anyway. I can't even walk up the hill anymore. Yeah, I can. Anyway. So, yeah, I learned a lot from reading that. Of course, it's something I already knew. In one of our previous seminars, we were talking about the connection between needs and bodily illnesses, which is really an interesting connection. And then we also connected that with chakras. You ever heard of that before? No. It was very interesting. I did this study, sorry about that. Not a controlled scientific study, but just one of my informal studies. So we had these participants. It was actually a training session for leaders. And I went around and asked the devotees, as a diagnosis, asked the jiva souls who were part and parcel of Krishna, in human bodies. I have to be careful, now that I have someone who's going to find out my faults. Yes, jiva souls, that's eternal. Human body, yeah, inhuman bodies, they're not humans. So they were not humans. But they were part and parcel of Krishna. But they were temporarily inhabiting human bodies. Sounds like a bad movie, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Running river or something like that. Because they had process languages instead of static languages. Well, that's another interesting thing. Let me just mention that point that you just made, was that when you have different societies who have different languages, there's two types of languages as far as we're concerned right now. There's process languages and static languages. Process languages are languages without the verb to be. You can't really say, you are a rascal in those sort of languages. All you can say is that maybe you may just made a mistake or something like that. Something that's more dynamic. So in those societies, there tends to be less violence. And so the American Indians are one of those societies. Until you Britishers, not you Britishers, but because I'm one of them. My family came from Europe also, so I'm just as guilty. Since us Europeans, or us jiva souls who are in human bodies, came to America and pretty much challenged them all and cheated them all in different ways by buying the island of Manhattan for $24 worth of jewels. Now you can't even buy 1 square centimeter for that amount. So there's less violence where people can't do diagnoses, which is really interesting. There's less violence when you can't tell someone you're a rascal. Because if you don't have the word to be, how do you call someone a rascal? You say, whatever, you can act better to help yourself, but you can't say that you're a rascal, you're a demon, you're good, or you're bad. And so, what do? How do you find fault in people then? I wouldn't be happy in such a culture like that, because especially with my scientific background, when you want to find fault. And what would people do on the internet? They wouldn't have anything to say on the internet, you know, against each other. No fault finding. No Vaishnava aparata. So anyway, getting back to the point, is that we were looking into the correspondence of different diseases with different needs, and also corresponding, using that, we don't have the triangle with us right now.
I can.
No, I don't need it, I don't need it. It was, if you remember this pyramid or triangle with the different human needs, you know, the basic needs, air, food, water, light, etc. You need to satisfy those and everything about it. But it turns out that certain categories of those needs are generally associated with the manifestation of certain diseases or the lack of the fulfillment of those needs. They're generally associated with the manifestation of certain diseases and generally associated with certain chakras. Now, if you don't know what a chakra is, it's not something that kills you when you're a demon. We have these energy centers along the spine, and anyone who's performed Kundalini yoga will know what I'm talking about. You know, you just raise the energy centers or whatever. And some people are stuck in the belly. Actually, just one funny thing. I can't keep myself from saying funny things. It's just, that's my funny Vegam. Funny Vegam, Guru Pashta Vegam. Anyway, so at one time I was asked to picture a devotee, make a picture of a devotee, a functional picture of a devotee. So there's this interesting character in the Ramayana, Kavanda. And he's a mouth and a stomach combined, and a head, you know, of course, a head. So you make a picture of devotee. I'm sorry if I'm committing offenses against any of you. So because the consciousness is in the belly, in the eating, and in the head, and then because we're so headstrong, you know, with our philosophy, and just like diagnosing everything. Demon, devotee, good, bad, you know, very black and white type of consciousness. It's in the head. And because we really like to eat, you know, prasadam. And that's not criticizing prasadam. Then this sort of part of the body is left out. Talking about chakras. So we found an amazing correspondence between diseases and chakras and diseases and needs. One of our devotees had severe back pain, really severe back pain. So what I did is, you know, I asked her, as a test, because I've never done this before, what need do you have that's really pressing on you? And I'm not going to get into what need it was because it's, you know, it's really confidential stuff. So we drilled down, and I asked her, I said, during this next week, become more aware of the need. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to try to fulfill your need. Just become more aware of it. And then she comes back next week, because every week we have this seminar. And he comes back next week and she says, back pain's gone. I've had it for years. I don't have any more back pain. I said, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And, you know, there are many studies, apart from this, that deal with mental states. Let's just talk about mental states right now, rather than emotional states, and the correspondence with different diseases. And there are certain studies that show that certain types of cancer have a correspondence. We're not talking about cause and effect right now. Because scientifically, if two things have some correspondence, that doesn't prove cause and effect. All it does is show there's a correspondence. But there's amazing correspondence between different, like cancer and some types of cancer, and anger. You know, repressed anger. Like we've been mentioning before, that when you have a emotion, feeling, and you repress it because you're Krishna conscious, you're supposed to repress anger anyway. So, right? I mean, Vega, Manasakri, Vega. Like I'm angry. Okay, I'll just act. I have to give a class. Then it eventually comes out. Like the example I often give is like the devotees, or not devotees, or people who make little animals from balloons. You know, we have one devotee in our temple in North Carolina who's really expert, named his Mother Sadhvi. And she makes, she goes out, she makes animals, entertains kids. But when you push on one part of a balloon, the other part pops up. Or explodes. Right? I mean, sometimes it happens. But usually, because she's expert, she can twist and turn and make little doggies and things like that from the balloons. So when you repress or suppress, I know I talked about this before, it eventually comes out. And it may not come out necessarily as directly anger. It may come out internally with some problem. So I'm not saying that all diseases come from that. You can just laugh COVID away. It's all in your mind. You know. It's just like a conspiracy theory. And everybody's convinced COVID exists, but it doesn't actually exist. I don't think it's like that. But in most cases of chronic diseases, not acute diseases, obviously if you break your leg, or we have an automobile accident, it's a different thing, go to the hospital. But in most cases, you can draw some correspondence with the needs that are met or unmet. And I found that to be quite interesting. Quite interesting and very therapeutic. So that's another reason for thinking about needs. Be healthier, live a long life. And also, another subject matter that I was studying, in addition to empathic, I guess it's connected to empathic communication. We have a need for fun. And one thing I used to do before I almost got kicked out of this one was I used to do programs using laugh yoga. Some of you may remember that before I was called on the carpet by how can you do that? Sannyasi laughing. Sannyasi's supposed to be serious. So we do. Actually, I did that in the Balkans here too, at several of the summer camps, if you remember. Serbia, I did that in Serbia and also Croatia too. I think I did Croatia. But anyway, and so we had all the devotees laughing. So there's been studies how when you laugh a lot, it increases, first of all, the endorphins. What's an endorphin? I know, well, I'm asking you, what's an endorphin?
Hormone of happiness.
Yeah, the happy hormone. Happy hormone. Happy. So what do they say? Even the theory was you fake it until you make it. Just like in acting. Sometimes you do that, you fake it and then you really get into the role. Like I know if I make believe that I'm a demon, I actually feel like it after a while. I feel like killing someone. You know, even if you take the physical element, or you force yourself to smile, after a while you start laughing. Because the physical self, nervous system, everything is actually interconnected. So there's many studies that show that how when people laugh, they get endorphins, and they get compliment B. That doesn't mean they get complimented. You were nice. So they, and other aspects of the immune system become enhanced. So you can laugh yourself out of COVID. So you find yourself with COVID, just start laughing. So you'll either die, you'll either die from asphyxiation, or you'll get better. So, anyway, so that's just an advertisement for the need to concentrate on needs. That's all. It helps you in so many ways, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and every other which way. You'll be more balanced and happy in life. And it doesn't make you necessarily Krishna conscious. It puts you in Maya. Now, so it makes you, if you concentrate on needs, you'll be stable. So you can chant. Your basic needs will be met, so then everything will be just like really like a smooth lake. Right now our lives are like an ocean with a lot of waves on it. So we want our lives to be like a very smooth lake that you can see your reflection in, and so you can just go down the lake in your canoe, your Krishna conscious canoe, and go back to Godhead. Okay. So with that in mind, let's continue, because I used almost the first hour, which is, I think it's important. It's an important thing that we found in our seminars about the correspondence of diseases and states. If you want to live a long life, be happy. You'll be satisfied. Okay, so let's go over what we went over yesterday before we go to something else. What we went over yesterday was basically the whole process of empathy, which is, who knows what the process is? What's the first one?
Observation.
Observation. What is an observation? Nothing?
Just facts.
What?
Facts, when we see factually.
The factually, like a detective. You know, this happened. Not that you were angry, but you opened your mouth and in 80 decibels of volume, because you had your sound meter with you. 80 decibels of volume. You said, "I hate you." That's an observation. Yesterday, at 3:02.12 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry about that. That's an observation, right? Pure observation. And then what happens? When you said that, okay, you're going to correct me. See if you can correct me now. When you said that, it made me scared. What was right or wrong about that statement? You made me scared. What? What's the right way to say it?
I was.
It's not right or wrong. I was scared. Taking responsibility. I was scared. Because you were asshole. No, because. And what? All right. So what? So that second step is called a what?
Emotion.
Emotion, feeling, like that. You could say emotion. And where does that come from? The heart. It's a measure of the stomach. Yeah, I'm hungry. It doesn't come from the heart. I have a need for food. Yeah, so the stomach is really important for the devotees. Sometimes we'll have to make a functional picture of the devotee, like I mentioned before, you know. Big stomach. Functional picture. So, all right, so I was scared, or I was angry, or I was disturbed. Because why?
I need it.
I need what?
You need to
Protection.
I need love. Yeah, it could have been that. I have a need for love, understanding, protection. Because this guy who said that might have been like, 3 meters tall. Need for peace, understanding. I'm taking responsibility for it. And then, after you explain your need, what do?
Request.
Would you be willing to shut up? No, you run away. You demonstrate. You can make a request, but in a case like that, you may just want to take a break. You understand? There's several things you can do, but you should do them right away. You run away, you make a request. I mean, usually if someone is really like 80 decibels, they're not going to be able to hear a request right away. So you may have to express that request. If you do a request, you may have to express it with body language. Certain times when people are really heated, or in other circumstances, words don't work. Actually, words oftentimes cause more conflict when they're not connected with the proper, or they're inconsistent with the body language and the tone of voice. Like you can say the same thing, or with a different tone of voice. Let's say, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. It has completely, one is sarcastic, the other one is, but it's the same way. That's why email is horrible, horrible, horrible. Remember that. I'm involved with a lot of stuff on email, and it's horrible, horrible, horrible. The conflicts become more and more pronounced with email. I mean, you have this, let's take one thing which I've talked about before, the Vaishnavi Diksha Guru thing. We have one person who shall remain nameless to protect his guilt, who every time you respond, he calls you names, ad hominem attacks, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And then we have another person on our side who doesn't engage in ad hominem attacks, but thinks he's going to defeat him. Like if you study hermeneutics, this is interesting. You probably know about this. Hermeneutics?
Yeah.
There's different types of discussion. What are they?
There's like Vada,
Vitanda,
and
Jalpa.
yeah.
So, why don't you describe what each one is?
I don't know what, one is like, you're just like trying to destroy the other person's position.
That's Vitanda.
And, yeah. The other one is like, it's like a back and forth. I
Yeah.
think one is just you're trying to establish your position.
Vada, you're just trying to come to the truth.
Yeah.
So you have these, it's interesting because we studied hermeneutics. Of course, one of my gurus is my mother. Believe it or not, Mother Irmela is my mother. So anyway, you may know her. She hates it when I reveal the truth. So she's taught all of us this hermeneutic, different types of discussion. So in the internet, it's just like back and forth, vitanda, trying to destroy the other person, not interested in what the actual conclusion is, what the actual truth is. And that's what happens with words. So it's really, I don't recommend generally using words when it's a very heated type of situation. I recommend responding, body language, like a punch in the mouth. Well, that's body language, isn't it? I recommend, just showing empathy. And if someone's in extreme pain, we often think that we have to fill the void of silence with some words, right? When it doesn't really work like that. The person needs to feel presence. The presence and empathy is a state of consciousness. It's not words. We are very uncomfortable when there's silence. Like let me just stop talking for about 15 seconds, see how uncomfortable everyone feels. I mean, it's also power. Sorry, couldn't do it. Oh my God, what hypocrites! So it just makes people uncomfortable. Like, I would just sit here and look around. It's just like it freaks people out. What's that? So, but we should get used to expressing, relationships with body language. Nowadays, of course, people don't even know how to relate to each other. They just sit in front of the television or together. Don't even do that anymore. They sit in front of individual mobile phones on the couch together and text each other. Do you really like me? Yes. Okay, so then we basically have the process. But the most important thing of the whole process is to be aware of your needs. Because then what I find is that things function from that basis naturally. If you're aware of your needs, then naturally, if you're not blaming, denying, or any of those things, you're just thinking, this is a need I have, this is a need I have, and if you understand the basic need, then empathy will come out, and you think of other people's needs, or you're conscious of other people's needs, or even you guess other people's needs. So, anyone have a question about that before we go on to something else? Yeah.
Can you give maybe some concrete example of body language answer in some situation?
Okay. Why don't we do a little role play? That's true. Actually, we have to do more role plays here. Okay, you're a good actress? Oh no, we have a good actress here.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the scenario. This is a little method acting for you. Here's the scenario. Is there anything else? Do you have a pet dog? Oh, okay. Forgive me for this one. But your pet dog just passed away, and you're crying. And you come to me for this. Yeah, you can sit there or stand, doesn't matter. So, all right. For those of you who don't know, she's one of the top actresses in Croatia. Bhakti, for those of you who don't know Bhakti. So, all right, your pet dog passed away and you're coming to me for empathy. You're crying.
I really can't talk, Guru Maharaj. My dog passed away. I don't know what to do. I miss him very much. And I know I know now he is in heaven. He had a good life, and I know that. But I don't know what to do now. I really miss him. And my kids miss him also. And I don't know. I'm passing through the really hard times. I love him. And the worst thing is that I have to make euthanasia for him because he was very ill and he had a cancer, and it's, I suffer because of that. Maybe that was the wrong decision, and that's mine. It's very hard to me, I'm sorry. I really don't know what to do. He was really pretty. His name was Bond, James Bond, age. I know that he's in peace now because he doesn't suffering anymore. And that's it. He ate a lot of prasadam. I know that maybe I can pray for him. Maybe he will be in another life a human. I don't know.
So you see, I didn't say a word. I'm not saying, I'm in touch with her feelings right here. I'm trying my best, of course, to be in touch with her feelings. I didn't say a word, I didn't try to console her. The opposite of that would have been several different things. One would have been advising her, I feel real bad, talking about myself, I feel real bad about what you're doing, what you're feeling about your dog. Another thing would be use some philosophy. The dog's not his body, and he took a lot of prasadam during this lifetime. And he's all right, just taking another body. That's not really going to help you, but just my sitting here and listening to you is much more powerful than my even talking about feelings and needs. And sometimes you may want to talk about feelings and needs. But basically, in a situation like that, someone needs someone to hear and empathize from the heart of their feelings and needs. And then in a situation like that, I think if that's my own judgment, if I had said anything, like, you were gone through the process verbally, it would have been very unempathic, saying, are you feeling sad because you have a need for connection with your dog? I mean, that's really up in the head. But I'm basically just sort of trying to connect with her feelings. She's feeling sad. I was crying. She's feeling sad. She has a need for connection with this dog, James Bond. Is that the name of your dog?
No, that's Udomit, kako se kaže?
Foster.
Yeah, that's foster dog, yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and they gave me that name.
Oh, okay. So, so the point is, it's much more effective in certain cases just to be quiet and not say anything. And we feel the urge generally, because of our training, we feel the urge to say something. You know, what should I say? What should I say to her? And it's really counterproductive in cases like that, just to come up with some words. So everybody, do you understand that? So, all right, let's do another role play with two of you without me in it. Who wants to do role play? Should I pick on you and Haripurush? No, then it'll be too real life. That's fun. No, can't do that to you. Does anyone want to take part in the play? Haripurush?
Sure.
But not your wife.
Okay.
We'll take, let's see, who will it take? Parmeshwari.
She's I cannot act.
Yes, you can. I'll tell you what to do. It's a combination culture. I'm your guru. I will tell you. All right. It's not really acting. You're going to tell Adipurusha how much you really want your children to be Krishna conscious, which is real life.
But now I don't.
You don't want them to be Krishna conscious.
No, I want, but I don't say, tell. I only pray to Krishna and that's all.
All right, so, but you're expressing to him, he's your friend.
He's my friend.
Okay. Yeah, not such a long distance between you.
Okay, it's okay.
You can sit there and then you can just talk to him and tell him. You know, he has a fear of losing his chair. Are you afraid? Are you feeling fear because you're afraid of not having a place to sit?
Stability won't be manifest.
Would you be willing to stand up if someone else guards your chair?
I guess so.
This is what you have to deal with every day. But you can move closer. She's not gonna. Why don't you go over there? She's not gonna bite you. Oh, now you get someone else's chair.
Krishna fulfills all desires.
So, can you tell Adipurusha how much you really want your children?
Ask me something.
Not necessarily. You're talking to him. I mean, if you want to do it that way, but
Okay.
Wait, am I supposed to be empathic or unempathic?
well, if I say normal, that means unempathic.
Don't you look like good?
It's good to take off your sunglasses when you're doing this if you're going to be empathic.
Yeah.
Because the one thing about sunglasses, they really don't help you be empathic. It's just like, you know, you can't see your eyes. It's just like, so,
Okay. I have 3 children, and 2 boys. They are more than 30 years. And the daughter who is 31. And they are all devotees, yes?
Oh, that's nice.
Because for many years and practicing Krishna consciousness, and they were all brought up in this atmosphere, and sometimes they practiced, but now they are adults, and I don't tell to them anymore what to do or what not to do, but anyway, I really would like that they become Krishna conscious, that they practice Krishna consciousness, that they come nearer to the lotus feet of Krishna, to serve him. I cannot do anything from outside, but I pray to Lord Krishna and to Gurudev also to be so kind and to bless them that they use this wonderful opportunity of this life, this human life, and the time they had to become Krishna conscious, to come nearer and nearer to Lord Krishna.
That's nice. All right, they're very short. So how do you feel that his response is to you? You know, just about watching you, or...
Yes, it was nice, but I like more dynamic.
Okay, so now you're on Empathic, so be more dynamic.
Okay.
Dynamic relationship. If he's my friend, she's my friend, and she can tell.
Well, yeah, because you're from Serbia. Serbia. People, this is really a diagnosis. People in Serbia are like Italians on steroids.
Oh my god.
Yeah. True. Oh my God.
Can you explain?
I will explain what I tell you. Boy, now I'm really doing the opposite of what I should be. I used to be in the GBC in Italy many years ago, and I would sit down in class, and the devotees told me you have to speak with your hands. You can't just speak. You have to go, Krishna is supreme. So I got in that habit, and I started smashing my hands. That's why I have these bruises. You know? Anybody should tell you something, that I knocked microphones over during the class. So, people from the heart. Okay,
Yes.
I don't get in trouble for this one. So, people speak from the heart. Whereas, now I'm really discriminating a lot. So, in certain countries, they don't show emotions. In Germany. Sweden, not at all. Except when they're drunk. When I was first visiting, then they become normal. But when I was first visiting Sweden and Finland many years ago, before they had so many cheap airplanes to go from one place to another, I would take trains and boats and everything like that. And so I would get on the boat. They have a overnight boat between Finland and Sweden. And, sit down in the boat. And the people were so drunk, they became friendly. They came up to me. One man even sat on my lap. I was sitting there trying to... And he sits there. Puts his arm around me. It was incredible. Anyway, when they come off the boat with these, all the beer and everything like that. Yeah. I'm sure they do. So, all right, so you want them to be more active. This time, try to be your normal self, not empathic.
Okay.
And preachy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so say the same thing you really want your
Too
children.
young for to preach. Yes, okay.
So start again. Tell them how much
Sorry,
you want
do you
your
have
children.
2 children? 3 children?
Yes.
Are they devotees?
All of them
Oh, they're chanting them 16 rounds?
are. No, I don't know how many around actually, because I don't ask. They are adults and I don't.
Oh, but Prabhupada said if you want to go back to Godhead, 16 rounds and 4 regulated principles. So, I mean, are they following the regulated principles at least?
How can I know?
Do you feel real comfortable with this guy now?
In Serbia.
He's too.
He's just quoting from Shastra.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want your children to see the Yamadutas.
With the questions, it's even more like.
I know all that. I really know all that, what you are saying.
You're abusing her. Okay, forget about it. I don't like to see people cry.
I think I would not, because I know that it is a play.
So you see, preaching doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, preaching doesn't work. That's why I'm trying to get away from the word preaching when we're dealing with people. It's more like we're sharing Krishna consciousness. Let me show. I first you come here and sit in this old seat.
Careful.
The music.
Wait.
Right, sorry.
Oh.
That's the punishment for doing what you did to her. You can sit. You can sit up.
Well, you just keep that here.
On the wall.
Yeah.
I don't want to destroy your life. Upset your life. Upset your wife and destroy your life. Okay, so we're at the university,
Okay.
and you're a student,
Okay.
and you know, I'm a devotee, I'm trying to be, but I'm trying to introduce you to Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
So we're going to do two different things.
Okay.
One is like empathic introduction to Krishna consciousness,
Okay.
and the other one is non-empathic. We'll do the non-empathic first because that's more fun. What's your name?
Dr. Steve.
You look like you're Indian. How could you be Bhakti?
Well, my parents named me Krishna, but I wanted to fit. Yeah, I just go by. You can call me
You ever read Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, I think some of the devotees told me about that, but you know, I got a lot of classes and stuff. I didn't have time to read it.
Well, it's really a great book. You know, it teaches you you're not the body. You know, you should understand. There's a purpose to the human form of life.
Yeah, to be happy.
No. How can you be happy as long as you're identifying with that body? I mean, you're young right now, right? You know, you have a young body, you're enjoying. Don't you understand one day you're going to be old like me? And you're going to be in pain. You know the threefold miseries?
What are those?
Well, I'll tell you about them. One of them is being yelled at by the... Oh, sorry. Threefold miseries. Miseries from your body and mind. Did your girlfriend ever reject you?
Yeah, I actually rejected her a few times. But
Was it painful?
first couple days, yeah.
Yeah. So imagine being rejected, the harsh words from someone, and miseries from other living entities.
I think just find another girlfriend.
And then you'll get rejected again. So miseries from the material energy, misery, and your parents. I know you have Indian parents.
A little bit strict, I guess.
Yeah, they're abusive. Hope this doesn't get back. No, this is not true life. So you know, this world is filled with miseries.
You have a really negative outlook.
And you're not that well. It's practical. Why be positive about something that's negative? Do Kalyam Ashashvatam.
I've seen Sanskrit.
That's all right. I'll teach you.
I don't know if I want to learn Sanskrit from you. You're kind of negative.
No, but that's reality. You know, right now it's sunny. The other day it was cold.
Yeah, I think life is pretty good though.
You think so?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Let me take you to an old people's house.
Why do I want to go there?
I'm going to show you what life is actually about. You ever heard about karma? I mean, you look at this McDonald's you're eating right now.
What's wrong with chicken nuggets and French fries?
What's wrong with them? Do you want to be a chicken?
Depends where I'm a chicken. Kind of fun. You get to move around a little bit.
And you get eaten by someone.
Okay, maybe that part I don't like. Like a chicken in like Argentina or something, walking in the sea. Like a typical college student.
Or a dog.
Oh, that's pretty good. They're pretty. I have some friends with dogs. They're pretty nice.
Aren't you interested in the purpose of life?
Yeah, I mean the purpose of life is to make money.
You're useless. You want to someone who's more receptive. That's the way the devotees. I mean, maybe I exaggerated.
No, you didn't.
No.
You didn't.
I didn't exaggerate.
No, that's how I really heard some devotees. Okay, maybe some parts, of course, exaggerate.
You're like hot
yes.
dog, camel, or an ass.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so let's try to be empathic.
Okay.
Now I'm teaching you, or not sharing. Hi, what's your name?
Chris.
I had a different name before.
I'm named Fluid.
Where are you from?
Original source of everything.
And what do you study at the university? I didn't deal with my philosophy. What do you study?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like English, or maybe like gender studies, or like psychology.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just kind of. I don't know. I can't really. I don't want to lock myself into any one thing.
You know, it's good to search around and just try to figure things out.
Yeah.
It's great that you're in that mood.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of exploration.
Yeah, well, that's what life is about. You know, doubting things and exploring different things.
Yeah, I'm really trying to find myself right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. You know, just take your time. You got your life ahead of you.
Yeah.
See, it's all non-Krishna conscious Mayavadi stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing some experimentation with like psychedelics.
Yeah.
What does Krishna conscious say about LSD?
Well, there's nothing wrong with LSD.
Oh, far out.
It's how you use things. There's nothing wrong with anything. It's just, you know, there's the proper use for everything. And so, yeah, LSD allows you to see things listen to how I'm going to deal with this one. It allows you to see the different levels of reality, isn't it?
So it's like a spiritual thing, right? I'm spiritual by taking LSD.
It helps you see beyond what you normally consider like the designations in this world.
Yeah, I get a
things like
different
that,
perspective on life.
which is really interesting.
Yeah, I really get a new perspective on life and feel more in tune with the universe.
The Gita talks about stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, what does the Gita say?
Well, the Gita talks about how we have different like designations. In LSD, you actually see the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not a class in Bhagavad. You see the same thing. There's different levels of perception. So the Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we can put ourselves into an illusion of thinking something we're not.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I think I'm like starting to open my third eye and see that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And you know, and there's bodies, you know, there's like coverings and things like that.
Yeah, it's cool. I feel like I'm something beyond this body, and there's like an astral. Is there like an astral plane?
Yeah.
Wow, that's far
Yeah,
out.
in Sanskrit, sorry to give a Sanskrit word, they call that the linga sharira, the subtle body, the astral body travels.
Oh, that's far out.
Like, sometimes the astral body leaves from the navel. This is actually true. I studied this before I was and it travels to different places.
Whoa, that's far out.
Yeah, so the Gita talks about that. You know, the Vedas, Indian culture talks about that.
What does the Gita say about having multiple partners?
Multiple partners? We've had so many. See what I'm doing? And you know, as far as gender fluid, the Gita talks about that too.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've been really experimenting with my sexuality lately.
Give me a second. Because we're not these bodies.
That's interesting.
You know, we identify with one thing, and then sometimes we change. Like some devotees, you know, they change different aspects of their people, change different aspects of their, like sometimes the girls, they change their hair color from one color to another. So it's a need for variety.
Yeah, like, you know, I don't know, sometimes...
The variety is the mother of enjoyment. It's great.
Yeah, really. Yeah, like I think, you know, I don't quite feel right in this male body, like maybe I'm not male or female, maybe I'm like something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're onto something.
It's like transcendental to this body.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the transcendental to the body. So see how... That's an extreme case.
It's pretty common nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? That's pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not all in the same conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, he has all the problems. Not just one. So you see, when you approach people, if you're just dealing, you can transform the conversation or get them to ask about Krishna or ask them about Gita or something transcendental. Just by, well, I'm not exactly agreeing with him. I guess I was in certain cases, but by really just reflecting their needs or feelings. Because his need was for variety, his need was for searching for, you know, reality, understanding the purpose of life. And I just reflected it, that's all. And then he was, you know, he was at the point where I could give him some prasadam, maybe give him Bhagavad Gita or some introductory book at this point. I don't think he's ready for the Bhagavad Gita. I would give him the book that I've written, which is called You're Not the Body, which is a compilation of some Bhagavad Gita verses and pictures. And he would relate to that. I'm not the body. You know, here, wow, this is really what I've been looking for. Because sometimes I feel male, sometimes I feel female. And through many lifetimes, I've had multiple partners. Okay. Yeah.
Can I ask something? Can you maybe give some advices how to act when we are communicating with someone and the other person is not empathic and like start to preaching something and giving advices or...
Okay, maybe we can do a role play with that. Well, let me explain. First of all, what we can do. It just takes one person to be empathic in a communication. And the other person picks up on it in many cases. Unless someone's really stubborn and they know it's just a role play. But so why don't we do it? You want to do a role play with me?
Okay.
Okay, so you're not empathic.
Okay.
So
I will be normal.
so okay. What do you have to say?
now I should preach to you something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like you have back pain because you have problem with security in life and you should work on this, and when you fix this up then everything will be okay. So you need to work on yourself more, meditate more and things like this, and then you will fix this back.
Thank you for being so concerned. I really appreciate that. It's really nice to have someone who cares about me and is concerned and trying to help me.
Okay, so what will you do now?
I'll take this advice. And can we keep in touch regularly?
Yeah, it's so sometimes hard to act like this because like if someone tells these things to me, like I'm like
So that's why, see, I would have to take care of my own needs internally first. And it may, if you're not accustomed to it, it may take some time. Sometimes you just need a little break from a conversation so you can think, you know, I'm just feeling really upset because I have a need for autonomy and she's just telling me what to do. This, and then I go into the diagnosis. Diagnosis is not bad. I know I said it's a block in communication, but I have to get in touch with the diagnosis to actually understand certain things. You know, Marshall Rosenberg calls it his jackal. So you get in touch, even when you do a diagnosis, understand what need am I trying to fulfill with that diagnosis. Everything reverts back to the need. So nothing, no diagnosis or denial or anything like that is actually bad. I don't want to put a label on bad. We get in touch with it. If I start diagnosing you and say, well, she's really a petunia. Anyway, she's pushy. Okay. She's really pushy. I say, I'm thinking she's pushy. I have a need for autonomy, you know, just to make my own decisions in life. Why doesn't she just bug off? You know, so this is what's going on in my mind. But then, once I get into touch, in touch with my need, that I have a need for autonomy, and I want to make my own decisions. I need to make my own decisions, which is a need for autonomy. You know, you can paraphrase the need for autonomy. You don't need to think like, I have a need for autonomy. I need to make my own decisions in life, which is the same thing. That's why we have to be very careful not to apply empathic communication in a ritualistic way. I have a need for autonomy. But I have a need to make my own decisions in life. And so I process this, and you know, it really settles me down a lot. And then I begin to hear your needs in communicating that to me. Instead of thinking, she's just trying to control me, I'm thinking, or I'm feeling, you're really concerned. This is really precious that someone is actually concerned about me. And I think this is wonderful. Instead of, you know, and so it may take some time to get into that mode, but as you apply empathic communication, what I found is, as I apply it, it actually becomes automatic. You know, just I automatically go. You're more secure in yourself. Actually, you know, here's what I'm trying to say, is that when you're really thinking about needs, you know, and connecting all your feelings to needs, you become more secure in yourself and you're able to be vulnerable. And you're not really in your mind so much. Like, we're talking about vulnerability, like sometimes I say things that are very highly critical of myself. You know, things, you know, I'm addicted to sports cars. I was in that Secret movie. So anyway, and really, you know, people think this or that, you know, I don't care. because it really helps you with your, I guess, self-esteem. Nothing wrong with self-esteem, with security in your own self. And so it doesn't really bother you when someone says something, gives you advice like you're saying, and I can go pretty quickly to the point of why you saying that. I said, she's saying this, she's saying, giving me advice, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I said, why is she doing that? I said, she cares. She's taking the time to say that to me. I said, really appreciate it. And so how do you feel, when I responded like that?
When you said like, I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. So that, there's a relationship established immediately like that. If I was just silent, I don't think it would have worked in that circumstance.
Yeah, it makes like the feeling like now we can move on.
Yeah, we can move on.
And there is no bitterness
Yes.
after.
Yeah, because you're telling me this, telling me that. And it's just like, wow. I'm thinking, wow, there's someone who actually cares. First person in my life who actually cared about me. I say that about, I mean, jokingly, I say that. Someone says, "Ooh, I really like you." I said, well, that's the first person. But, even my mother didn't love me. But it's really establishes very sweet relationships to appreciate what other people's needs or feelings are in a particular exchange like that. Is that okay?
Yeah, but like sometimes it's so hard to practice this if people are arrogant. Then it's very hard.
People are arrogant.
When,
Yeah, I'm not saying that's wrong.
yeah.
If you feel that someone is arrogant, think about it. Don't try to get that thought out of your mind. So that, like I said, it's very important to clarify what we meant about the 4 Ds of discommunication. It's not that, oh, I am diagnosing something. Oh, I can't diagnose it. I'm disobeying the rules of empathic communication. I'm a rascal. So, yeah, I am diagnosing it. What is my need? My need is there for protection. So get in touch. The whole idea is to get in touch with even diagnoses, even denials, even demands, and even deserves. Don't eliminate those. We talked about 4 Ds of discommunication. Probably you all remember them by now. It's only been 2 days, 3 days. So you get in touch with them and find out what need is connected. Always go to the need.
Yeah, I'm conscious in that moment that I have need of like nice talking, that people respect me, that I respect them, then everything is nice. And then when it's not happening, I'm like, why? Why we cannot just be like always polite and things like this?
Yeah, so if you get in touch with the need and really concentrate on the need without going to the head after that, why isn't this happening like that? If you get in touch with the need, you will feel more secure in yourself, and because you're taking responsibility for that feeling that you have. It's not that the other person is disturbing me. Otherwise, normally in a conversation like you and I just had, so I or someone else would be thinking, this person's driving me crazy. Blaming you. This person is driving me crazy, but I am driving myself crazy. And my need is for autonomy, making my own decisions in life. And I am able to make my own decisions in life. She's not forcing me to do something. Just sounds like my mother. These things are going through my mind. It just sounds like my mother. a little too old to get harassed by my mother anymore. So, anyway, there's one, I guess I can tell it. There's one lady in our center in North Carolina who acts just like my mother. I won't mention her name, it's mother-in-law. You probably have met her, she's come here to Slovenia. And she just like chastises me. Of course that's a diagnosis. She tells me what to do. And I have to apply every single aspect of knowledge I've ever learned about empathic communication to deal with it. And it still drives me crazy.
It's a good exercise.
Yeah, it's a good exercise. She's taught me a lot about empathic communication. But she's doing it because she feels like she wants to help me. She's concerned. And I don't need, but if I want to be empathic, I should go to that place somehow or other where I understand her needs for my well-being. But it's hard. It's really hard because when someone reminds you of your mother, it's really hard to deal. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience.
Yes, everyone.
My daughter has that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to deal with that experience, with that interaction with a mother-type figure. Ooh. And that's actually the test that I oftentimes don't pass, which is all right. So, yes.
If you're done with that, I just have another question.
Sure.
So I've tried to do this sometimes, and often I get to the point of like, someone's like not responding how I would want when I'm talking to them.
Right.
And I say, okay, I think I have a need for understanding, like for someone to really understand what who I am and what I mean. And then I don't know if that's like not the full right thing, because it doesn't exactly make me feel better, because then I just go to the point where it's like, oh, well, they won't. I'll have to find another way to fulfill that need. I don't know, just that doesn't help. I wonder if that's wrong or if that's not
Well, there's
right.
nothing wrong and there's nothing right.
I don't know if that's like, is that not like deep enough? I know it's probably for me to
perhaps
ask.
need
but
to go a little deeper. You know,
Yeah.
why do I have this need? That's why I emphasize the use of the word why. You know, it doesn't strike you. You can. Oh, here's another point. Yeah, I think this is an important point. When we're dealing with ourselves, we're dealing with others. When we actually get to the basic need, you'll feel a release of tension. And if you're not at the basic need with yourself, thinking of it, and sometimes you'll be addressing others in a situation, you'll say, you know, it sounds like you really need some comfort. And yeah, you're right. And then it's just like, it's like you let the air out of the balloon, and everything's, wow. You can actually feel it. It's tangible. You know, tangible means you can feel it. When you actually get to the basic need. And it's important not to use the words that I give for need usually. It has to be paraphrased. Like, you know, I say the word for autonomy, but it's such a mental word there. And, you know, I'll paraphrase, you know, I need to make my own decisions. That's how I would phrase autonomy. You know, the first response would be, bug off. I have my own life. That's another need. I have my own life. I need to make my own decisions, you know. I need more space. Oop.
Bread.
Oh, bread. Which you're not giving me. Good old creepaminess. Anyways. Wow. Well, you're reporting on me now. So, well, she's gone. I can get away with any damn thing now. Anyway, so So I don't really use the standard words that we have in the list of needs because it really has to be your language or your understanding. Like, I need space. I need, so it would be interesting to go through the list of needs and actually have people rephrase them in terms of their own life.
Mm-hmm.
What? A list? Yeah, why don't we go to the list of needs? And then we go around the room and have people rephrase them in their own language. I think that would be an interesting exercise. Thank you. And I need my... I can see without that. What was that?
It just like came out.
I need you to be more responsible.
Oh my god. This is so misused.
What?
It's so misused word, is I need.
I know.
It's like demand.
I
It's
need.
like,
Need is usually demand,
yeah.
I need you to listen to me. I need you to behave. I need you to do well in school. I need to behave myself. I need to stop telling so many jokes in class. I mean, it's like this word need. But like you can use the word value too for needs. What's important to me, or even what's important to me. I really feel we have to get away from the language here and try to integrate it into our own language, our own understanding of life. Okay. Okay, so autonomy. Let's take autonomy. So, can anyone express autonomy in their own way? What?
I'm a grown man.
Yeah, I'm a grown man. Whoops.
I don't know what's going on.
Because
Sorry.
you're Maya. I believe it.
Oh my god.
Good at that.
After I trained you up all these years, and now look what you've done to my phone.
1 year.
Oh my god.
1 year is not enough.
Yeah, you need to go back to kindergarten.
Oh my god.
That abusive spiritual aspect. Anyway. So need for autonomy, what? Anybody have any concepts or
Independent.
independence? Yeah. Let's try to get to the heart. Try to speak from your heart now.
Need to be myself.
Yeah. That's good. I need to be myself. Because you hear some emotional tone in it. So previously, you were speaking in robot mode. Is that he speaks in robot mode sometimes?
You know.
Yeah, I do know. That's why I got married to you. So. Because you can hear the tone of voice. I need to be myself. Wow, that's a nice way to express autonomy, isn't it? Very nice. So who else has a nice way to express autonomy? I mean, every way is nice, but he's not so nice sometimes. But anyway, so, yeah.
I do failure.
What?
Failure.
Failure.
Dylan, the fuck.
I make mistakes.
I make mistakes. That's good. Make mistakes, that's me. I mean, that's maybe another way,
I want to learn things.
What?
I want to learn things by myself.
You want to learn things by yourself? Yeah. That's another way of expressing need for autonomy. Who has a way? Another. I mean, it's interesting. There's unlimited ways of expressing these different needs, and you can express them according to your own personality. So, who? Anyone else?
I'm a weak.
What?
Weak.
You're weak.
Sometimes.
Weak sometimes. Anyway, that's being vulnerable. Yeah, that's good. I mean, being open and vulnerable. So who else has a way of expressing autonomy?
I would say, can my word count? Or something like that.
Well, that's the way you would express it to someone else. Yeah. I want my words to count.
I need space for making good and
Here's the ethical question I was going to raise at the beginning of this whole seminar. So now is a good time to raise it because we're talking about Goswami. I know if I cook certain things and give them to people, it'll help them become Krishna conscious. At the same time, and also we cook certain things, it'll also we'll get more donations in the temple and more people come for the Sunday feast. So at the same time, I know it's not good for their health. What do I do?
What did Marie say? Better to die by Ram than Ravana.
That's actually very good. That's a good ethical, you got an ethical dilemma there. That's time being killed by Prasad than to be a demon. So anyway, so we have these ethical dilemmas and we have to make these choices based upon needs. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not like they're gonna be. You expect them to be eating that food every single day. Everything in moderation.
I did.
Yeah, right. But now you don't.
And then they get attached.
And they get attached.
Yeah.
And they get attached and they get diseases. And yeah, so the way I look at it is that right now they're going to eat those things anyway.
Yeah.
Or worse things.
Whether you're there or they're at the temple
Yeah.
or not.
Whether I'm there or not, they're going to eat the things that are going to kill them.
Yeah,
So I might as well give them Krishna conscious things that'll kill them
yeah.
and bring them to Krishna consciousness. So in that way I can justify going to the university. Of course, many people are vegan nowadays. But I can justify going to the university and cooking things in ghee and halva, sweet rice and everything like that. Sorry, I don't want to criticize anyone for shopping. that may not be the best thing for their health because they're doing those things or worse things anyway.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the university, drinking and all this stuff.
So it's better than alcohol.
Yeah.
So I can justify doing things. It's an ethical dilemma, and sometimes with ethical dilemmas, you got to make a choice.
It's not also it's their choice to eat the food. They make that choice.
Yeah, they're making that choice, and you're making the choice to get them addicted.
You don't get someone addicted though. That's the.
Yeah, they're making the choice.
Yeah.
And I made the choice to be addicted when I was first in devotee too. That's true. I'm responsible. So, all right. What other questions? We got about a few more minutes. Actually, 7 more minutes for today. Yes.
I just wanted to say that these lists of feelings and needs can be useful in the beginning. When we are learning, when we are not aware yet what are the feelings and what are the needs, it may help to keep the track that you're not going off the track, mixing feelings with thoughts and mixing needs with strategies. I guess that's the purpose this kind of
the
lists are meant to help in this beginning stage. But as Maharaj says, if we follow this ritualistically, it's most likely...
It's a disconnect after a while.
It's most likely
if I say, like if I'm getting advice from someone, I have a need for integrity. The word integrity I understand, but it doesn't connect with me. It doesn't really connect. Like I'm trying to connect with my heart, not with my brain. And I have a need for integrity. I can say it over and over again. It doesn't really mean anything. Or I have a need for autonomy. The word doesn't strike me at all. But when I say, I have a need to make my own choices in life, then it really gets to the heart. So that's why I was cautioning about using some of the words here. And the importance of connecting, yes, what you're saying is true, of understanding this list, but connecting these words with words that mean something to you. Very, very important. or else it's just like, it's all in the brain. Like even the word, even play, I have a need for play. It doesn't mean too much to me. But if I say I have a need to joke and laugh, then wow, yeah, that's my need. So you really, as we were expressing before, you actually feel when you're connected, you feel like a release of tension. You know, a palpable, which means something you can feel. Just like when you get in touch with your needs or someone else's needs, or you can express a need in the language that you think in or you feel in. You see that? Actually, we could do a little exercise. Who wants to volunteer? Oh, to be abused by me? Okay. Do you, let's see, do you have a need for integrity?
Yes.
How do you feel when I say integrity?
Oh yeah, it's a little bit impersonal.
Yeah. Okay, let's try some more words. Do you have a need to like create things?
Yeah. I can more connect with this.
Can create things? You artistic at all, or
Yeah, let's say like this.
do you design things sometimes?
No, not in this way.
But music.
Yeah, I like.
You like music. So you like music.
I like more like painting, writing.
Painting, writing. You like to write.
Yeah.
Good. So, like to create, creativity, writing, express yourself in that way. So how do you feel now that I said it that way?
Nice, like you are interested in me and want to find out about my needs and things.
Yeah. So if I just said, you know, just use one of these things here, like say you have a need for integrity. Do you have a need for integrity?
It's like official.
It's so official. So it's important to sort of like guess the language. And even when you're dealing with someone, apart from getting the right words or the right concept, the person appreciates that you're trying to reach out too. Like if I say, do you have the need for integrity? It doesn't really strike me. And then I'll say, but you like creating things. So then I'm asking you questions and I'm getting it wrong. Not really wrong, but not really connecting certain times. But are you appreciating that I'm trying?
Yes, and like in this way, that you are really interesting to find out, not just asking because you are asking, but just want to have some relationship in this way.
That's good. So that's the point, sambandha, relationship. Any other questions before we end? And tomorrow, what we should do is something I really like is appreciation. How to express appreciation. Because that's the last day.
Thankfulness.
What?
Thankfulness.
Thankfulness, yeah, thankfulness, appreciation. How to express appreciation in EC. There's no other questions.
Can I express appreciation?
Oh, not tomorrow. No, you cannot.
But I had a question
Yeah.
that you, when you were explaining today and made me actually answer my question in my head, is how addressing my needs is not selfish. That you explained when we address our needs, then we can be in peace and actually can relate to others and other needs. And I was thinking about this morning. I was trying to chant and thinking, what is my need, and then like, what do I need? Always thinking about myself, but it puts you in a state that you can actually grow from it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to be concerned with your own needs. Because if those needs are not met, then you won't be able to connect with others. You know, if you're hungry, thirsty, It's going to be very hard. You have a need for food, you have a need for water, you have a need for understanding, and these needs are really pressing on you. Then how can you connect with others? It's very hard. So, charity, I said that the first day you weren't here, but I said charity begins at home. As Prabhupada said, when distributing prasadam, we distribute to the devotees first. And then, okay, so any other questions? Or?
I have one
Yeah.
question if possible. What if like some people that, for example, we expect that like are more experienced than us, and we kind of expect feedback from them,
Yeah.
but they are aware that they should not tell us too much, so they do it very, kind
Tactfully.
way. And excuse me.
Yeah.
Tactfully.
Tactfully is the word.
Yeah. And then if we then feel that that maybe we notice that they could tell us something, but they rather don't, because we would just I don't know, it would burn out us, but maybe they could help us if they would, we feel we're not.
So they're not giving you, you feel you can take a little bit more than they're giving you. You can take
I don't know, or I'm aware that I would not be able to take it, but just have a feeling that there's maybe more than what they say.
And so the problem with that would be, what?
That maybe like the things that could be pointed out, like suggestions how to change or think about certain behaviors, are not expressed.
Especially because they understand you're not ready to take that at this particular point. I would appreciate how much they care and being cautious with me. That's how I was thinking, how much they actually love me, because they really don't want to push me. They want me to make my own decisions in life and appreciate my own autonomy or independence or whatever like that, and they're letting me choose. Yeah.
In that connection, I feel angry because they're not giving me the option to choose. They're just making the choice for themselves that we're not ready.
Yeah, then, if you feel like, if that's your judgment, okay, it's not
Yeah.
your judgment, you're upset because you have a need for clear communication
No, I have
or trust.
No, I have a need to choose
And yeah,
for the
need
options to be
need
laid
to
out.
know
in front
all
of
the
me.
options on the table, and then express that. I have a need to. I know you're holding this back from telling me the truth. Not telling the truth, but tell me everything. So I have a need to know the options and be trusted. There must be a trust issue there somewhere.
Well, I feel angry. I think that's.
I feel angry.
I see how what you said. It made me feel like that's another option, but I go the opposite way of feeling angry because of the assumption that's made.
Because of the assumption.
Yeah.
Because I know myself well enough.
Not like I would know that, but I have no chance to know if that's.
Yeah, I want to make my own choice. I want to know the options. Yeah, in other words, I'm trying to phrase it in a different way, see if this works. I really have a need to be trusted, that I can make my own choices in life. Does that sound?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe not fully. Something about the assumption. More about the assumption. I'm not sure. It's more like misunderstanding.
I have a
even
need
though
for
it's
understanding.
Yeah.
to be understood, to be valued.
Mm-hmm. To be I need to be treated with like as I'm mature.
As a mature adult.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would need to be treated as a mature adult who can make their own decisions in life.
Yeah.
Good. So you express that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sorry.
Very good. So how did you feel about me guessing at your different needs?
Honestly, I felt a little just kind of stupid for taking up so much time in front of everybody.
That's not a feeling.
I feel embarrassed.
You feel embarrassed.
But it was if it were not in this
If it
setting.
wasn't, if I was just
I would
talking
feel-
to you and normally
Yeah.
chastising you like I normally do.
I would feel like respected
Because
as
I
an
think-
individual.
Took the time to ask you about your needs, even though I got it wrong the first time. But I was just interested in you as an individual. And we don't take the time usually. Usually we speak twice as much or 10 times as much as we hear. But as it's often said, and I use this expression again and again and again, that God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So it means the hearing should be in a ratio at least of 2 to 1 to the speaking. But one problem I have with many devotees, not with any of you of course, is that because we're used to speaking for long periods of time. I'm used to just going on for 2 hours without a problem. So then our communication tends to be in that direction. That we just like...
Hare Krishna monologue.
Yeah, the Hare Krishna monologue. No, because you give class every day, and you're used to monologues. And telling jokes and everything like that. And so... And so it tends to pervade one's interactions with people after some time. And I've seen that. It's a real problem, our preachiness. That we just don't listen, and we just quote Shastra all the time. But I find it more interesting to listen to people than to speak myself. Okay. I think our time is over. Okay, so tomorrow, same time, same station. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.